Welcome to my channel. Have you ever studied something and then forgot it the next day? Maybe you spend hours reading an English book or watching a video or practicing new vocabulary. But when someone asked you a question, your mind just went blank. It feels frustrating, right? You ask yourself, why can't I remember? Am I doing something wrong? Now let me ask you another question. Do you ever wonder how some people remember names, faces, facts, and even entire languages? How do they do it? Are they special? Do they have a magic brain? The answer is no. They don't have a special brain. But they do have something else, a system. And that system helps them remember things easily and clearly. So if you feel like your memory is bad, if you keep forgetting things you want to remember, I want to tell you something important. Your memory is not broken. Your brain is not weak. You just haven't trained it the right way yet. But don't worry. You can learn how. In this video, I will show you step by step how to train your memory, just like a muscle. Because memory is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Like going to the gym, but for your brain. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you forget, and more importantly, how to remember almost everything you learn, whether it's English words, names, ideas, or anything else. I'll break it down in 6 simple chapters, full of real tips, examples, and techniques that actually work, even if you're an absolute beginner. So grab a notebook, get ready to focus, and let's begin. Chapter 1. Why you forget, and why it's not your fault. Have you ever read something, understood it, maybe even highlighted it, but then forgotten almost all of it the next day? You might feel frustrated, or worse, like something's wrong with you. But let's pause right there. What if I told you that forgetting is not a flaw? In fact, it's how your brain is designed to work. In this chapter, we'll dive into the science of forgetting, and you'll discover something surprising. You don't have a bad memory. You just haven't trained it the right way yet. Let's begin with one of the most important discoveries in memory science, the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. The Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, explained simply. Over 100 years ago, psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus conducted experiments to measure how quickly we forget information. What he discovered became known as the forgetting curve. It looks something like this. Right after you learn something, you remember almost 100% of it. But within 24 hours, you might forget 50%. Within a few days, you might forget up to 90%. Unless you do something to keep it. Let that sink in. Even if you study hard and understand a concept today, there's a very high chance you'll forget most of it within the week if you don't review it. Now here's the key. This is not a sign that you're not smart. It's simply how the brain works. And it's true for everyone. Your brain is like a path in the forest. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine your brain is a thick forest. Each time you learn something new, you carve out a little path through the trees. At first, the path is faint. The ground is soft. Leaves and branches block your way. But if you walk that same path again and again, it becomes clearer, easier to follow. Eventually, it becomes a smooth, reliable road. That's what repetition does for your memory. It strengthens the path in your brain. The more you review, the more solid and permanent that path becomes. But what happens if you stop walking that path? The forest takes over. Plants grow back. The trail disappears. Not because you're lazy, not because you didn't try hard enough, but because that's how nature works. This is exactly how forgetting works in the brain. Why repetition matters. Think about this. When you remember your best friend's phone number, your native language, or how to ride a bike, it's not because you're a genius. It's because you've repeated those things so often that they've become deeply embedded. If you want to remember anything, a word, a concept, a formula, you must come back to it. Review it, use it, talk about it, teach it. That's how it sticks. And the best time to review? Just before you're about to forget. That's how you fight the forgetting curve. That's how memory becomes long-term. Distraction destroys memory, but repetition is only one piece of the puzzle. The next major factor is attention. Let's be honest. We live in the age of distraction. Phone notifications, tabs open everywhere, constant multitasking. But your brain can't encode memories properly when it's being pulled in 10 directions. Imagine trying to write your name on wet cement, but someone keeps bumping your arm. That's what distraction does to your brain when you're trying to learn. If you want to remember more, you need to focus. Even short bursts of focused attention, say 25 minutes without interruption, can lead to much better memory formation than hours of distracted studying. Sleep, stress, and emotion. The hidden memory influencers. Let's talk about the 3 hidden factors that most people forget when it comes to memory. Sleep, stress, and emotion. Sleep. Your brain doesn't just rest while you sleep, it goes to work. During deep sleep, your brain processes, organizes, and files away everything you learned that day. Sleep is like the save button for memory. If you don't sleep well, your brain can't store new information properly. Stress. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that shuts down parts of the brain related to memory. That's why you blank out before a big test or presentation. Chronic stress doesn't just make you feel bad. It actively blocks your ability to remember. Emotion. Have you noticed how you easily remember your first day at school or a scary moment from childhood? That's because emotion boosts memory. The stronger the emotional connection to the information, the deeper it gets stored. So if you can make learning emotional, exciting, funny, meaningful, you remember more. So why do you forget? Let's recap. You forget because your brain is efficient. It removes unused information. Without repetition, knowledge fades. Distraction prevents your brain from storing memories in the first place. Poor sleep and high stress break your memory system. And without emotion, learning doesn't stick. But here's the hopeful part. You can fix all of this. You just need to work with your brain, not against it. The big idea: you're not broken. Your memory isn't weak. You've just never been taught how memory really works. And now that you know forgetting is normal, that it happens to everyone, and that it has simple causes, you can do something about it. What's next? So if forgetting is natural, the next big question is: Chapter 2, Repetition, the mother of all memory. In Chapter 1, we learned something powerful. Forgetting is not a weakness. It's how your brain naturally works. And once you understand how your brain forgets, the next logical question is: how do I make sure I don't forget? That's where repetition comes in. But here's the truth. Repetition isn't just helpful, it's everything. If you want to build long-term memory for English vocabulary, grammar rules, phrases, or anything else, repetition is the key. But not just any repetition, because most people repeat the wrong way. Let's fix that. Why repetition works. Remember the forest path metaphor from Chapter 1. Each time you review something, you walk that same brain path again. It becomes clearer, smoother, easier to follow. Without repetition, the path disappears. But repetition makes it permanent. But here's the twist. Timing matters a lot. The power of spaced repetition, explained simply. Most people repeat like this. Study everything the night before a test, cramming. Then forget it all a few days later. That's not real learning. That's short-term memory, and it doesn't last. What your brain really needs is spaced repetition. Let me explain it simply. Spaced repetition means reviewing something just before you're about to forget it. This way, your brain works harder to recall the information, and that effort is exactly what makes the memory stronger. Think of it like lifting weights. If the weight is too light, your muscles don't grow. But if the weight is challenging, that's when the growth happens. The same goes for memory. If you recall something just as it's starting to fade, you strengthen it 10 times more than if you just reread it right after studying. A simple spaced repetition plan lets make this easy and practical. Here's a basic plan you can follow. Day 1, learn something new. Let's say 5 English words. Day 3, review those same 5 words. Try to remember them without looking first. Day 7, review again. You might forget 1 or 2. That's okay. Try again. Day 14, review once more. Day 30, final review. If you still remember, congratulations, it's likely in your long-term memory. This simple schedule takes just minutes a day, but the results? Huge. You'll start remembering more by reviewing less often, but more effectively. This is the magic of spaced repetition. Why cramming doesn't work, let's be honest. We've all crammed before a test or exam, and maybe it even helped you pass. But here's the problem. Cramming fills your short-term memory. It doesn't build strong, lasting connections. It's like inflating a balloon. It looks big, but the air disappears quickly. You might feel confident right after studying, but by the next day, it's gone. Spaced repetition is slower at first, but it leads to deep, permanent learning. This is how top students, memory champions, and polyglots learn. Active recall. A secret weapon now. Let's add one more tool to your memory toolbox. Active recall. Most people review by rereading, highlighting, or watching again. That feels productive, but it's passive learning. Active recall means testing yourself. It means trying to remember without looking. That might feel harder, and that's the point. Here's how to use active recall with repetition. After learning new words, close your book and ask, can I remember them? Use flashcards. Look at the word in English and try to recall the meaning. Or, better, look at the meaning and try to recall the English word. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Quiz yourself. Each time you struggle to remember, even if you get it wrong, your brain learns better. Effort equals stronger memory. A simple memory routine anyone can follow. Let's say you're learning English vocabulary. Here's a basic plan you can follow at home. Day 1. Learn 5 new words, write them down. Say them out loud. Make a sentence with each one. Day 3. Review. Don't look at the list. Try to remember them. Only check after guessing. Day 7. Review again, say or write a new sentence with each word. Day 14. Final review. If you still remember 4 to 5 words, you're doing great. You can do the same for grammar patterns, conversation phrases, or even idioms. The key is consistency, just a few minutes a day. You can do this right at home. Here's the best part. You don't need expensive tools. You don't need perfect English. You don't even need a lot of time. Just a notebook, a pen, or a free flashcard app like Anki, Quizlet, or even small sticky notes on your wall. The tools are simple. The system is powerful. You just need to follow it. Final thoughts. Make memory work with you. To remember something, you must review it at the right time, spaced repetition. Try to recall it without looking, active recall. Repeat it until it sticks. Forget rereading and highlighting. That's not how your brain learns best. Instead, challenge your brain gently and consistently over time. And here's the most exciting part. You don't need a perfect memory to get great results. You just need the right method. Now you have it. So, are you ready to train your memory like a muscle? Chapter 3. Make it meaningful, emotional memory and connections. By now, you've learned two powerful truths. Forgetting is normal. Repetition, especially spaced and active, is the key to remembering. But even with all the right techniques, some words still slip away, don't they? You study them, repeat them, and yet they feel flat, lifeless, hard to hold on to. Why? Because your brain doesn't just remember words, it remembers feelings. In this chapter, we'll explore how to bring meaning and emotion into your learning, and how that transforms memory. Why we remember emotionally charged moments. Think about it. You probably remember your first day of school, a song that played during a breakup, the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, the taste of your favorite childhood snack, but you probably don't remember what you ate for lunch last Tuesday, the fourth chapter of that boring textbook. A random list of English words you studied last month. Why the difference? Emotion. Emotion supercharges memory. When something makes you feel surprised, happy, scared, nostalgic, your brain pays attention. It says, this is important. Remember this. The Apple test. Making words personal. Let's take a simple word. Apple. If you just read the word in a list, apple, chair, window, it probably won't stick. It's just noise. But what if you connected apple to something personal? Imagine this. You're 7 years old. It's a warm afternoon. Your mother just handed you a cold apple from the fridge. You bite into it. It's sweet, crunchy, and the juice drips down your chin. That's not just a word now. That's a memory, a feeling, a smell, a color, a moment. And your brain loves moments. That's the key. Don't just memorize a word. Connect it to a feeling, a story, or a personal memory. Memory hooks. Make it weird. Make it stick. There's another trick that memory experts use. Make it weird. The stranger or funnier something is, the more your brain holds on to it. These are called memory hooks. Let's say you want to remember the English word awkward. Instead of just reading the definition, imagine a penguin wearing high heels, trying to walk across a frozen lake. Everyone's watching. It's slipping and flapping, awkwardly. Ridiculous? Yes. Memorable? Absolutely. That's the point. You can do this with any word. Make a silly picture in your head. Add movement or sound. Add emotion or exaggeration. Your brain remembers crazy things much more easily than boring things. Use music, pictures, and storytelling. Memory doesn't only live in textbooks. It lives in your senses. Songs are sticky. You've probably had a song stuck in your head for days. Why not use that for learning? Find English songs. Learn the lyrics. Sing them. Even better, connect a new word to a song. Every time you hear the song, the word comes back. Visual memory is powerful. Instead of writing out words in plain lists, add pictures next to them. Even drawing a little doodle, badly, helps your brain remember. Seeing a banana is very different from just reading the letters. If you want to supercharge memory, turn words into stories. Let's say you're learning these words: run, dog, park, ball, happy. You could memorize the list. Or you could imagine this. A golden dog is running through a green park, chasing a red ball. A little girl laughs and claps as the dog brings it back, wagging its tail. Everyone's happy. That story includes emotion, movement, color, and connection. Now those words live in a memory, not just a list. Turn boring word lists into mental movies. Here's an easy exercise you can do at home. Take a list of 5 to 10 new English words. Look at the meanings. Instead of memorizing, create a story that uses all the words. Make it wild. Make it emotional. Make it yours. For example, with the words rain, bus, late, angry, umbrella, try this. You're running through the rain, late for the bus. You forgot your umbrella. The driver sees you and keeps driving. You stand there, soaking wet and angry, but then someone shares their umbrella with you. And suddenly, you smile. Now you'll remember those words, because they live in a feeling. You don't need a perfect brain. Just the right trick. Memory isn't about being smart. It's about being clever. You don't need to memorize hundreds of words every day. You just need to make each word mean something. Ask yourself, how can I feel this word? What does it remind me of? Can I picture it, smell it, hear it? Can I make it funny, or emotional, or strange? When you do that, the word is no longer just a sound. It becomes part of your story. Final thought. Make learning personal. The most powerful language learners aren't the ones with the best study habits. They're the ones who make learning personal, emotional, creative, and fun. You have a story inside you. You have memories, emotions, images. Use them. Connect them to your learning. That's how you go from forgetting to remembering forever. Chapter 4. Use it or lose it. The power of speaking and teaching. You've learned about how the brain forgets. You've learned how repetition and emotion help you remember. But now we arrive at one of the most powerful secrets in memory and language learning. If you want to remember something, use it. Simple, right? But most learners make the same mistake over and over again. They collect information, but they never use it. They read, listen, highlight, and watch videos, but they don't speak. They don't write. They don't teach what they've learned. And that's where real memory is built. Input versus output. What most learners get wrong, let's break this down. Input equals reading, listening, watching. Output equals speaking, writing, teaching, using. Most people spend 90% of their time on input. But research and experience shows that output is what really locks knowledge into your brain. Imagine trying to learn how to swim by watching YouTube videos. You watch 100 hours of swimming lessons. You know all the strokes, all the techniques. But the first time you jump in the water, you sink. Why? Because knowing is not the same as doing. Learning a language, or anything, is the same. If you don't use the knowledge, it fades. If you want to remember vocabulary, grammar, or ideas, you must speak them, write them, and share them. Speak it to keep it. Let's talk about speaking. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a native partner. You don't even need another person. You just need your voice. Speaking activates a different part of your brain than listening or reading. It requires you to retrieve the words, organize them, and send them out loud. That process forces your brain to work harder, and that effort builds stronger memory. Try this. After learning a new word or phrase, say it out loud 3 to 5 times. Make a sentence, then tell a short story using it. Even better, record yourself, then listen back. Even 5 minutes a day of active speaking can dramatically boost memory. The Feynman technique. Teach like you're talking to a child. Now, here's one of the most powerful learning tools in the world. It's called the Feynman technique, named after physicist Richard Feynman. It works like this. Step 1. Learn something new. Step 2. Try to explain it, as if you're teaching a 5-year-old. Step 3. If you get stuck, go back and review. Step 4. Try again using simple words. Why does this work? Because teaching forces you to understand deeply. When you teach, you're not just repeating, you're organizing the idea in your own words. You're building strong, logical connections. You're filling the gaps in your knowledge. Teaching is learning. You don't need a classroom. You can pretend you're teaching your younger self. Explain a new word to a friend. Write a blog post or social media caption in English. Teach your pet. Yes, seriously, just to practice. The more you explain, the more you remember. Shadowing, talking to yourself, and memory building lets connect this idea to real English practice. One of the best techniques for language memory is shadowing. Repeating what you hear out loud, immediately and clearly. It builds pronunciation, fluency, and, you guessed it, memory. But even beyond shadowing, you can talk to yourself in English. This might feel silly at first, but it's powerful. Try this. Describe what you're doing as you go through the day. I'm making coffee. Now I'm writing an email. I feel a little tired today. Argue with yourself in English. Practice conversations in your mind or out loud. All of this is output, and all of it makes your brain retain what you're learning. Writing to remember writing is another underrated superpower. When you write, even a simple sentence, your brain has to slow down, think clearly, and organize your thoughts. That process strengthens memory. Try this every evening. Write 3 to 5 sentences in English about your day. Use any new vocabulary you've learned. Try using one grammar pattern you're studying. Don't worry about mistakes. Just use it. If you can say it or write it, you're far more likely to remember it. You don't need more information. You need more action, let's be honest. You don't need 100 more vocabulary words today. You probably don't need 10 more grammar rules. What you do need is to use what you already know. That's what makes knowledge real. That's what makes memory strong. This chapter is about taking control. You don't have to be passive anymore. You don't have to wait for someone to talk to you. You can speak. You can write. You can teach. And when you do, the learning sticks. Final thought. From learner to speaker, the fastest way to move from learner to speaker is to start using your English every single day. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to wait. You just need to open your mouth, move your pen, and try. Because in learning, especially with memory, the rule is simple. Use it or lose it. And now you know how to use it. Chapter 5. Visual memory. Make your brain see it. Let's start with a surprising truth. Your brain is not a hard drive. It's a movie studio. Most people try to learn and remember things like a computer, storing plain facts, words, or numbers. But your brain doesn't work like that. It's not built for raw data. It's built for images, for scenes, for stories. Your brain remembers pictures, not words. Think about it. You forget people's names, but you remember their faces. You forget what you read in a textbook, but you remember a funny video from 5 years ago. You forget the exact date of a birthday, but you remember how the cake looked. That's the magic of visual memory. And in this chapter, you'll learn how to use it to remember anything. Vocabulary, numbers, names, lists, by turning it into pictures your brain can see. Why visual memory works before writing, before reading, before technology. We were visual thinkers. Early humans remembered where food was, where danger was, and who was in their tribe, not by taking notes, but by noticing images in their environment. Our brain still works that way. That's why words are forgettable, but images, stories, and places are unforgettable. The good news? You can train this skill. You don't need to be an artist. You just need to learn how to see with your mind. The Memory Palace, a place for everything. Let's start with one of the oldest and most powerful techniques, the Memory Palace. Imagine this. Your home becomes your memory. Each room stores something you want to remember. Let's say you want to remember this English shopping list. Apple's milk soap bread toothpaste. Here's how you use the Memory Palace. Close your eyes and imagine your front door. Now picture a giant apple sitting on the doormat. You open the door, and inside, the hallway is flooded with milk. You walk to the bathroom, and the soap is jumping up and down like a frog. In the kitchen, the bread is flying through the air like a frisbee. And in the sink, your toothpaste is wearing sunglasses and dancing. Silly? Yes, but that's the point. Your brain loves silly. The stranger and more visual the image, the stronger the memory. You can do this with vocabulary too. Want to remember the word generous? Picture a giant genie handing out free gifts in your living room. Generous genie. Now you won't forget. The peg system. Hanging ideas on hooks. Here's another simple method. The peg system. Imagine you have pegs or hooks in your mind, and you hang information on them. For example, you memorize numbers by turning them into rhymes. Bun, shoe, tree, door, hive, sticks, heaven, gate, wine, hen. Now, let's say you want to memorize a list of 10 English words. You create an image that links each word to the rhyme. Word 1. Happy. Imagine a bun with a big smiling face. 1 equals bun. Word 2. Fast. A shoe with rocket boosters. 2 equals shoe. Word 3. Cold. A frozen tree with icicles. 3 equals tree. Word 4. Angry. A red door shouting. 4 equals door. And so on. It might take a little time to learn the pegs, but once you have them, you can remember any list. Chunking. The secret to long numbers. Ever wonder why phone numbers are split like this? 555, 123, 7890. That's chunking. Your brain can't remember long strings of information easily. But when you break it into chunks, it becomes manageable. Instead of memorizing the numbers 713, 647, 5219, break it into 713, 647, 5219. Now try this with English phrases. Instead of memorizing a long sentence, I'd like to order a coffee with no sugar and a little milk. Chunk it into, I'd like to order a coffee with no sugar and a little milk. Each part becomes a chunk your brain can manage and visualize. Remembering names and faces. This is a skill people really want. And yes, it's all about visual memory. When you meet someone new, repeat their name out loud. Nice to meet you, John. Find something unique about their face, glasses, hair, smile. Link their name to a visual. If John has curly hair, imagine a jumping jelly bean jiggling in his hair. Silly? Yes. But next time you see him, that jelly bean will pop up in your mind, and so will his name. Using your environment. One easy trick. Associate words with real places in your life. Let's say you're learning these words. Spoon, clean, window, quiet. Go into your kitchen. Look at the spoon. Say the word out loud. Touch the table. Say clean. Stand near a window and describe it. Sit down. Close your eyes and listen to the quiet. Now those words are attached to real places, and your brain will remember. Final thought. Make your brain see it. Here's the takeaway. If you can see it in your mind, you can remember it. Stop trying to memorize boring words and plain facts. Start making them funny, visual, colorful, personal, and real. You're not just a student, You're a movie director. You control the scenes in your brain. Use memory palaces. Use stories. Use images. And suddenly, even the hardest vocabulary becomes easy to remember. Chapter 6. Your 7-day memory plan. Build the habit. So far, you've learned how your memory works and why forgetting is completely normal. You've seen how repetition, emotion, pictures, and speaking can transform your learning. But here's the truth. Knowing all this is useless unless you practice it. Memory is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. But if you train it, just a little each day, it gets stronger fast. That's why, in this final chapter, we give you something powerful, a simple 7-day plan to train your memory. This isn't just theory. This is a step-by-step challenge to apply everything you've learned, starting today. You don't need fancy apps. You don't need hours of free time. You just need 15 to 20 minutes a day for 7 days. Let's break it down. Day 1. Pick 5 new English words. Start small. Choose 5 new English words you actually want to learn. Make sure they're useful, not random. Words you might use in conversation, in writing, or that match your goals. For example, delicious, tired, schedule, remember, difficult, write them down. Say them out loud. Get ready to make them stick. Tip: use words from your daily life, something you saw, read, or heard today. Day 2. Create visual images for each word. Now apply what you learned in Chapter 5. Turn each word into a visual image, something strange, funny, or personal. Let's try. Delicious. Picture your favorite food smiling at you with big eyes. Tired. Imagine a sleepy elephant yawning on your bed. Schedule. See a talking calendar chasing you. Remember, visualize a giant brain holding a photo album. Difficult. A mountain with the word hard written in flames on top. The more emotional or ridiculous, the better. Tip: you can draw the images too. Even simple stick figures help your brain remember. Day 3. Teach the words to someone else. Teaching locks the memory in your brain. If you can explain it, you understand it. So take your 5 words and teach them to a friend, to a language partner, to a child, or even to yourself in the mirror. Explain what the word means. Show your visual image and use it in a sentence. Tip: if you're alone, record a voice message or make a short video of yourself teaching the word. Day 4. Review using spaced repetition. Now it's time to review, but not by rereading. Instead, use active recall. Cover the words. Try to remember the meaning. Say them out loud. Check if you were right. Repeat this throughout the day. Spaced repetition means you don't review too early or too late. Day 4 is the perfect time to review words from day 1. Tip: write the words on flashcards, physical or digital. Add your picture or sentence on the back. Day 5. Add 5 more words and repeat the process. Now you're warmed up. Let's level up. Pick 5 new English words. Use images. Teach them. Review them. By now, your brain is already building stronger memory paths, like walking the same trail in a forest until it becomes clear. By the end of day 5, you'll know 10 words deeply. Not just recognize them, but actually use them. Tip: mix new and old words when reviewing. This helps long-term memory. Day 6. Make a story using all 10 words now. Bring everything together. Create a short story using all 10 words. It can be real, funny, or completely imaginary. The key is to connect the words in a way that makes sense to you. Here's a silly example using the words above. I was so tired yesterday that I forgot my schedule. I didn't remember my meeting, but I did eat a delicious cake. It was difficult to focus, so I went home, made some tea, and taught my dog 5 new words in English. He's now fluent. When words are part of a story, they stay with you longer. Tip: write it down or say it aloud. Both help cement memory. Day 7. Speak and record yourself. Final challenge: take your 10 words and use them out loud. Say a few sentences. Tell your story again. Record yourself speaking. Then listen back. You'll be surprised. You won't just recognize these words. You'll own them. They'll feel natural, part of your vocabulary. Tip: don't worry about being perfect. The goal is confidence, not perfection. Bonus: repeat this cycle. What happens after day 7? You do it again. Each week, add 10 more words. Review the old ones. Build stories. Speak aloud. In just 4 weeks, you'll have 40 words that you truly know, not just in your brain, but in your mouth. Final words: make memory a habit. Forget once a month cramming. That doesn't work. Instead, make memory part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. Choose your words, make them visual, teach them, review regularly, use them in real life. Small, daily actions. That's the secret. You don't need to study more. You need to remember better. And now, you know exactly how. Call to action after Chapter 6. If this video helped you, give it a like. It really supports the channel and helps more learners like you. And if you're serious about building your memory starting today, write in the comments, "I'm starting today." I'll be reading and replying to cheer you on, because this is a journey we're taking together. Don't forget to subscribe for more real English tips that actually work, tips you can use in daily life, not just in a classroom. And remember, a strong memory isn't something you're born with. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's a skill, and you've just learned how to train it. Now, take the first step. Let's build it together.